Okay, so you did it. You launched your Squarespace website. It looks great, right? Clean, professional, and then crickets. Barely any traffic, no one's calling, no inquiries in your inbox. It's a super common problem and it's so frustrating. It just leaves you sitting there thinking, what on earth went wrong? Yeah. If that quote hits home for you, trust me, you are not alone. It's that exact feeling, right? Like you're stuck in neutral. Your website is there, it's not throwing up error messages, but it's just not doing its job. It's not bringing in business. And this is a really quiet problem, one that tons of business owners face. So, what are these invisible issues, really? We like to call them the silent killers. These are the sneaky, non-obvious mistakes that can take a beautiful website and stop it dead in its tracks. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to diagnose exactly what they are, one by one. All right, here's the game plan. First, we'll talk about the good enough illusion. Then we'll get into foundational flaws. After that, we'll switch gears and look at things from the visitor's viewpoint. Then uncover some common business blind spots. And we'll wrap it all up with the mindset shift that pulls it all together. And the whole problem, so often, starts right here. See, Squarespace is amazing because it makes it so easy to get a site that looks decent. And that's the trap. We think, great, job done, and we check that box. But what's really happening is that false sense of accomplishment is hiding some much bigger issues that are lurking just beneath the surface. So let's go ahead and get beneath that surface. Let's talk about those foundational flaws. Think of these like invisible cracks in the foundation of your house. They're the critical mistakes you make right at the beginning that silently, slowly undermine everything else you try to build on top of them. Okay, this is a big one. This right here tackles probably the biggest myth out there, the idea of automatic SEO. A lot of people think it just happens. But here's the deal. Squarespace gives you the tools, for sure, but it doesn't do the work for you. Believing in automatic SEO is kind of like buying a gym membership and expecting to get in shape just by having the card in your wallet. You gotta show up. Visibility needs a real strategy, right from day one. And this just lays it out perfectly. Look at this. A page title that just says services, that's a whisper. It's a weak, generic signal that just gets completely lost. But a title like Architectural Design for Boston Homes, now that is a megaphone. It's a super clear, powerful signal that tells both Google and your ideal customer exactly what you do. When it comes to this stuff, specificity is everything. Which brings us to a super important point. Clarity converts. You can have the most gorgeous design, but it's worthless if a visitor can't immediately, and I mean in like 3 seconds, answer 2 simple questions. 1, what is this business all about? And 2, is this for me? If they're confused for even a moment, they're gone. A beautiful design won't save them. Clarity is what actually turns a random visitor into a paying customer. Okay, so this leads us to our next big shift in thinking. We have to change our perspective. See, we build our websites in our own little bubble, but our visitors, they experience them in a totally different reality. It's absolutely crucial that we learn to see our own site through their eyes. Think about it. We're sitting there designing on our big, beautiful monitors. We've got lightning-fast internet. We're in a quiet office. We know exactly where to click. Now picture your visitor. They're probably on a phone, standing in line for coffee with 1 bar of service, totally distracted, and trying to figure something out in the 30 seconds they have free. The experience isn't just a little different, it's night and day. And this is such a perfect example of that chain reaction. Step 1, you upload a stunning, high-res photo. Looks great to you, right? But then, for a visitor on a shaky mobile connection, that huge image makes the page lag. Now, they're not sitting there thinking, oh, this image isn't optimized. No, they just feel friction, a little bit of annoyance. And that tiny feeling is all it takes for their thumb to hit the back button. Poof, they're gone. And that friction shows up in all sorts of ways, right? Like overcrowded menus that just make you feel confused, or giving people way too many choices, which leads to decision fatigue. And big, long paragraphs of text, forget about it. People just skip right over those. We have to remember, people scan websites. They don't curl up with them like a good book. The real goal of good design and good writing isn't to look smart, is to quietly remove all that effort for the user. All right, this brings us to our next category of silent killers, business blind spots. And what's tricky about these is that they're the problems we can't see, not because they're invisible, but because we're just not looking in the right places. Man, this chart really says it all, doesn't it? The way most website decisions get made, it's mostly guesswork. We use our own internal logic, and then, get this, A whopping 70% of the time, it's just based on pure assumption. Meanwhile, the actual user data, what people are really doing, that's that tiny little 5% slice. If you're not looking at that, you are basically flying blind. Okay, let me ask you a very direct question. Be honest. When was the last time you personally filled out your own contact form to see if it works? Are you absolutely 100% positive that if someone tries to contact you through your website right now, it will actually work? Because this is one of the most painful, silent failures of all. A business owner is sitting there thinking, I guess business is slow, wondering why nobody's reaching out, when the whole time potential clients could be sending messages that are just disappearing, vanishing into thin air, all because of a simple, untested glitch. So, how do we fix all this? How do we fight back against these silent killers? Well, it's not about finding some secret setting in Squarespace. The real solution is a fundamental shift in your mindset. We have to stop seeing our website as a finished task, like a printed brochure, and start treating it like what it is, a dynamic, living tool for our business. And here's the difference in a nutshell. On one hand, you have the set it and forget it approach. That's a one-way ticket to your site becoming outdated and irrelevant. But on the other hand, when you treat it as a living tool, well, now it gets the attention it actually needs. It grows and changes as your business does. And it stops being an expense and starts becoming a source of really valuable insight. And really, that's the main idea here. When you boil it all down, these silent killers we've talked about, the bad SEO, the slow images, the broken contact forms, they aren't really technical problems. They're human problems. They come from our own assumptions, our own shortcuts, and most importantly, our own lack of empathy for what our visitors are actually experiencing. So I want to leave you with one final question to think about. The very next time you pull up your own website, I want you to stop and ask yourself, am I looking at this the way I built it? Or am I looking at this the way a brand new visitor does? Are you seeing it with pride, or are you seeing it through their impatient, distracted eyes? Because honestly, the answer to that question could change absolutely everything.